Hello, I'm Thomas Carruthers.
And I'm Jay Reed.
Jay, I'm going to
Yes.
read you a list.
Okay.
What Lies Beneath, Inglourious Bastards, American Psycho, Hot Fuzz, The Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford, Burn After Reading, Little Miss Sunshine, The Dark Knight, Up in the Air, No Country for Old Men, There Will Be Blood, Zodiac, Children of Men, In Bruges. That was my top 14 movies for 2000s, Jay.
Mm-hmm.
Take a wild guess what number one was.
Mulholland Drive.
Mulholland
Yes.
Drive.
Ah,
I feel in a way this is what we've been building up to. I feel
this is the climax.
yes, and then Inland Empire is the post-coital conversation.
Yes, it's the clarity.
Yes, as I say, I think not only I think I can say unequivocally, not only is this both of our favorite Lynch film, it's also one of our favorite films, full stop.
It is my favorite film.
Full stop, full stop, full stop.
Full stop, full stop.
I can't believe it. I'm just so excited to be here. I'm in this dream place.
This one comes highly recommended.
Dream place. What are you doing?
Get out of the car.
Yeah.
The girl is still missing.
What's wrong? I just don't know who I am. I wonder where you were going. Mulholland Drive. Come on, it'll be just like in the movies. We'll pretend to be someone else.
This is all an illusion.
You want to know who you are.
Well, you have excellent taste, Jack. It's one hell of a pick. This is our penultimate film. This is Mulholland Drive. This is 2002, 2001. Sometimes people, I don't know, it flips. But
yeah.
I dare say this is his closest chance to ever getting an Oscar, because as polarizing as Lynch's films often are in the critical community, everybody loves Mulholland Drive.
Don't you?
Where's this going?
Mulholland Drive.
It's been a very strange day.
Getting stranger.
Yes.
And it wasn't a delayed reaction. Almost instantaneously, everybody said, this is one of the best films of the year. And then as the decades have gone by, it has only climbed further and further in people's estimations, with its ranking number one on the Sight and Sound Best of the 21st Century for the past 5 years, I believe.
And the BBC. Although that might be the same thing.
Yeah, lots and lots and lots of polls. And of course, the most coveted, the Thomas Carruthers Best of the 2000s list.
Yes.
Jay, when did you come to Mulholland Drive?
Almost immediately after I finished the original Twin Peaks for the first time, because obviously there's a bit of a lull in the quality of Twin Peaks in the second season, and then you get to the last episode and oh boy, it's different. And then after that I was like, okay, and I did a bit more research and I was like, okay, this David Lynch fella, he's pretty interesting. So I think almost the day after I watched the last episode of Twin Peaks season 2, I watched Mulholland Drive because I wanted more of that strangeness.
And I presume you were satisfied with
Oh,
what you
yeah.
received.
Oh yes.
There's a lot to get into, so we're just going to pass straight into it. YouTube comments. I've never watched a movie more than 2 times, but this movie I've seen about 40 times.
Hmm.
It's from Dagster.
I've seen this a lot too.
Uh, Mulholland Drive is a perfectly executed surrealist nightmare. Naomi Watts' acting achievement in this film is chilling and captivating every moment she's on screen. The concept suggested in the film, the setting and the story, and zigzag characters are just as stunning to watch today as they were 16 years ago.
Yeah.
One of the all-time great horror films, suspense films, surrealist films, black comedy films, old Hollywood, love story, mystery, basically every genre ever films.
Yeah, that's Lynch.
That's YouTube comments. Jay, when I say to you Mulholland Drive, what's the first image that comes into your mind?
Boy, I'd say the end when it's, I think, their faces over LA.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, Silencio, but
This was very similar to you. I can't. No, actually, I don't think this is very similar to you. I think I did. I think I was watched Mulholland Drive before I watched anything.
okay.
Because my grandma had always recommended The Elephant Man, and so there was a DVD box set that was Inland Empire, Mulholland Drive, and Elephant Man. So I saw that, and I saw these two, and I was like, oh, people say that Mulholland Drive's great. Okay, so I'll get this box set instead. And I famously watched the first up until the switch on a portable DVD player in my car. You think you're watching a film on your portable DVD player
in a fucking car.
And it was the middle of summer, and it was so warm. I was literally sweating profusely because there were no windows open. And whilst my mother and Auntie Becky and sister were all in the staff shop at Next because to get a discount. And I was sat in the car and I was like, okay, I'll sit in the car and I'll watch Mulholland Drive. And just an incredibly visceral moment. So then I got home and I realized about David Lynch chapter menus. And I realized that I wasn't going to be able to just skip to where I was. And so I watched the first hour and a half again on 6 times speed, which was even more Lynchian. And then I was just about to watch the final 40 minutes. And then I was about, I don't know, 11, 12 at the time. And these 2 half-naked lesbian women started having sex.
Yeah.
And I was going, oh, okay, this took a turn. What's happening here? And then my dad walked in, and so I had to turn it off. And then I didn't watch the final 40 minutes of Mulholland Drive for a very long time because I was like, I'm not going to do the fast forwarding again, David.
He's very proud for that.
I think that's the one. I get completely where he's coming from, but I think that's almost the one thing that everybody agrees is just terrible.
Yeah.
Because I think for fans, we don't have to watch them completely every time, I guess. I don't know.
No.
I can understand him trying to preserve that cinema thing of watching a movie from start to finish. Especially his sort of films where it's a mood and you've got to get completely sucked in.
True. Yeah. I think there's been a few times where I've been like, oh, I want to watch a Lynch film, but not all of it at the moment. Oh, I just want to skip to the Silencio scene and cry.
Pardon me. Let's get into it now, actually. Best 10-minute stretch. These are my 5 nominations. Meeting Adam Kesher and that sort of boardroom meeting. And then there's a little bit in between. And then there's Billy Ray. I think I really, really, really like Justin Theroux in this movie. I think he's absolutely excellent.
Oh, yeah, he is.
And every time I watch it, I go, why doesn't Justin Theroux have a bigger career?
I mean, yeah. I mean, Matt, you haven't watched The Leftovers, have you?
No, I haven't. But
You definitely need to. He is so good at it, Tom.
well, he got in with Ben Stiller for a long time. He's like best friends with Ben Stiller. So he like co-wrote Zoolander and Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, he has like a writing side thing, doesn't he?
Yeah. But I no, he's very, 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 very good in this film. He famously was one of the nominators on David Lynch's ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Justin Theroux. Once I'm gonna have espresso poured over my head while I play Somewhere Over the Rainbow on a trumpet.
Does he have a nickname?
I don't know.
What would it be?
Mm-mm.
Just you and I. I don't know.
That's what I have, Adam Kesher. Then I have the back-to-back of the phony reading of the lame scene, quote unquote, where they're all having a good laugh in the kitchen. Oh, this is so stupid. What a silly, silly scene.
Yeah.
And then doing it again with Woody Katz, great name. And it's slightly it's harassy. Not that that's an adjective. But then she owns it, and she puts his hand on her ass, and it's even though the dialogue is still quote unquote terrible, it's so electric and so dynamic and so visceral.
I remember I watched this film with my with one of my friends once, and he was like, "Why is the acting so bad?" And I was like, "Just wait." And it got to this scene, and I was like, is it still bad? And he was like, no. And I think there's some very purposeful, strange acting, at least in the first 2 hours, compared to the end, obviously.
Yes, and again, that's all. I don't. Previous guest Finn Howe has commented before that he think that he stopped watching Gone Girl. Have you watched Gone Girl, Jay?
I've watched Gone Girl.
Yeah, he was saying that all the flashback scenes they were badly acted, and I said, "Wait, and you stopped watching?" And he went, "Yeah." I was like, "Did something really big happen before you stopped watching?" He went, "I don't know. They thought he killed her, and thought, why don't you finish it first and then talk about how bad, quote unquote, the acting in the flashbacks is."
That's not Gone Girl. I
But
mean,
it
that's
is
a unreliable narrator film as well. So,
and that is obviously the point of a lot of this sort of heightened Hollywood, old Hollywood acting that we get in the first hour and a half. The fulfillment of dreams.
Yeah.
Pardon me. And that sort of old Hollywood chic.
Yeah.
And it comes to its tragic, horrible culmination. Excellent fun. Then we have the audition and the for the Sylvia North story, the back-to-back Connie Stevens songs. Not Connie Stevens, sorry. One of them's Connie Stevens, one of them's Linda Starr. 16 Reasons into I Told Every Little Star. And This Is the Girl.
I rewatched. This is the good choice.
And then Silencio. One of the most devastating moments I think I'll ever see.
My favorite moment in all of cinema.
It's the balls of Lynch.
Yeah.
To tell us exactly what's going to happen. This is a tape. He couldn't say it enough. This is a tape. This is a tape. Then to do the trumpet guy as well.
Yeah.
Then to suck us in for 3 minutes, only to bother again. Excellent. I actually have a relationship with the Club Silencio scene, Jay.
Oh, what?
When I first saw this film, I was running the Gifted and Talented Drama Student Club at my high school. Because I was a Gifted and Talented Drama student. And it was in my final year. And they said, okay, do you want to run it for the kids? Okay. And so one of the pieces they did was they split us all into groups to do a horror 20-minute piece. So I said, okay, let's do this. And so we staged the whole Club Silencio scene.
Oh my God.
And it was this, that we had this lovely woman called Millie, who
Mhm.
actually could sing. And so later we recorded her singing Always on My Mind. But for a dress run, we chose Always on My Mind because she obviously didn't know Spanish. And that might have been a bit far-fetched. But we got her ready. And so then I said to the teacher, I said, oh, because it was cutting it fine. And I said, oh, could you just find a woman singing Always on My Mind, please? And so we got it ready. And she steps forward. And it's like, I don't know if it was Louis Armstrong, but it was the deepest voiced black man you've ever heard in your life. With this little, and so this little white girl, Millie's going, oh, and she's miming to "As the skies are blue, red roses do," and it's just the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen.
Oh my God.
But it was a great moment. I dare say that we didn't do service and justice to Lynch in that moment.
I don't know if I told it. It's a bit off topic, actually.
Take it.
I don't know if I ever told you that when I was in school doing drama, we did a scene from Inglourious Bastards.
Which one?
The opening one with in the barn.
Monsieur Lapid, this is a glorious glass of milk.
Yeah, I was the farmer.
And did you flip between French and German?
Yes.
My word.
Yes. Well, no. I mean, accent-wise, not.
Oh right, okay.
not, I didn't speak in French and German. That would have been confusing.
It would have been confusing, indeed.
Yes.
And then we come down to reality for the concluding 20 minutes of the film. I think, sure, there is some bizarre imagery along the way, but lots of jokes are made around this Oscar season. I think I mentioned the Whoopi Goldberg one in another episode. But I think it's pretty clear what Mulholland Drive is and what Mulholland Drive is about and what the plot is. And
yeah, I mean, if you look at Ebert's review, like the first time, he said it's not meant to be understood, and then when he revisited it, I think for his greatest film lists, he was like, actually, yes, it can be understood, and there is, a meaning and a plot.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just, and I think, what I think it might be, is that I think a lot of big-minded critics don't want to accept that it was all a dream movie.
Did you want to tell me something, Adam? This is the girl. Excellent choice.
I have to be somewhere. I promise a friend.
Yeah.
Because it is, and it's all a dream movie. However, it's just the best version of that there could ever possibly be. It's so exceptionally well done.
Yeah.
And instead of it being a cheap twist, at the end, it's this grand thing, and we stay with the ramifications of it. Well, it's just glorious, isn't it? Let's talk about Ebert. Ebert famously hated, loved Eraserhead, but then unequivocally hated most of the Lynch films that followed, bar The Straight Story that he enjoyed. We talked about on our Last Highway episode how the review was 2 thumbs down and Lynch used it for marketing. Another 2 reasons to watch Lost Highway. Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel with their thumbs down. So what do you think stuck for him here? What do you think put this above the rest. I mean, we agree that it is a notch above the rest of the Lynchian canon. It is his overall piece de resistance. However, what do you think for Ebert worked so well this time round?
I think part of it is probably the LA, and then I think part of it is definitely just the way the love story is presented and how tragic it is. I think it's more obviously warm and it has more heart to it, to be honest, than the rest of Lynch's films up to that point, I'd say.
Yeah, I think you could certainly make the argument. I think there's a lot that you can cling on to.
Yeah.
However, I think you could make the argument for a lot of Lynch's films, because although the great tragedy of Dorothy Valens isn't as tangible, perhaps, as the great tragedy of a lost romance, there's a lot of plot that you can grab onto in Blue Velvet or any of the others. I never looked up his Elephant Man review. I wonder what he thought of that.
I don't think he loved it.
Oh no, we did talk about it because he thought it was overwrought and melodramatic, didn't he?
Yeah. I don't think we talked about it, but yeah.
It was very much the greatest pop culture critic of a generation. However, some terrible takes. It has to be said. However, he is just a man. Jay, did I miss anything out in the 10-minute stretch for area?
You said Silencio. The last stretch, I think there's parts of it. I think like the when he announces that they're going to get married, for me, is one of the best parts, because it feels like you're watching some bizarre horror film, but from Camilla's point of view, where it's just building up into something, and then it's just them getting married.
It's this giggling.
Yeah, it's the giggling.
Shrieking is rough. Yeah, pretty jarring stuff. And we have to cut away. We can't even hear we're getting married. We have to cut away back to Winkies. We just can't watch it. It's too painful. Too painful to see. The reality is that other shoe. Is that other shoe dropping, and is brilliantly effective. What do we do next on this little show of ours? Tom's weirdly specific favorite parts of the film. I love the jitterbug. I love the opening jitterbug. I think it's an excellent image to open us up with. And so brilliantly conceived and shot and edited.
It ties in well as well.
Yeah. Just sensational. I've always loved this moment. Okay, Irene.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Or fuck.
You're done. This is your last episode. We're not even doing in an Empire anymore. Unbelievable.
No. We have to.
Okay, Irene. And it's slightly dubbed and it's slightly off. And I've seen somebody do a explain video. Mulholland Drive explained. And they were saying that it was intentional, and that it was trying to set you off balance for the rest of the story. I can vaguely see something in there, but
it's like, for me, I think there's a lot of things that I do accept as part of like the dream thing, but like I don't know if that's one.
Yeah, it feels like a stretch.
Yeah.
Then we have what's the photo for? There's a couple of excellent line deliveries. Let's break down that boardroom scene, because everybody is on top form, including Angelo Badalamenti.
Espresso.
Sorry. I love his spit. Such a horrible spit.
Yeah, I know.
He could have so easily just.
That's a musician spit.
And he's wriggling his mouth around, and
that's 100% a I'm a music composer spit, where he's in control. Like, yeah.
It is glorious. I love the pink paint, and I love the imagery of the pink paint on the black outfit. Such a glorious image.
So odd.
Yeah, bizarre. I love Rita's cold read. I think she's excellent. I think Laura Harring is so great when she's trying to be bad, and she's, but why did you come back? And it's so cold and so dry, and perfectly sets us up for the seductive scene that will follow next. I love director Bob in the seduction or whatever we want to call it scene. Okay. That was good. And it's just maybe the worst director ever.
Yeah, I know that's on purpose because obviously she has that disdain for him in the reality.
Yeah. Jeez. The trumpet reveal, obviously leading to what we see, and then the giggling announcement that you already mentioned. Any very specific moments that really hit home for you, James?
The Billy Ray Cyrus cameo.
Yes. Excellent Billy. Excellent Billy Ray.
The cowboy scene. The bit where he is on the phone and Justin Theroux's on the phone as Adam Kesher and is like he wants me to meet the cowboy. What do I have to go to a corral? And she's like, yes, actually.
Yeah. And he's going to disappear. And he's going to look and sound exactly like William Sadler.
And also the when he smashes the car.
Is that the brother's car? Yeah. That's the brother's car. I love a good smashing scene. Anybody smashing anything up, that's just glorious to me. Soundtrack corner. Now we've touched on Crying by Rebecca Del Rio.
Yeah.
And sort of unequivocally commented on it as one of the finer moments of a book on a film. What are your other favourite uses of music in this?
The one we mentioned earlier, the I've Seen Every Little Star.
Yeah, I've always loved that. That's just great.
Me too. I really love the music when it's dancing between the scenes in the reality. That's by I think it's by Badalamenti, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, Badalamenti did the score again. That glorious, slow, droning synth that opens the film as we're driving through Mulholland Drive on our way to the crash. Rough stuff, great stuff.
There's the Jitterbug soundtrack. Yeah. I really love the OST in this film, actually. What else?
I think for me, it'd have to be those two audition songs. I'm a big 50. I love Connoisseurs. I love that whole 50s vibe. So they really work stellarly well. I opened this by talking about how this may have been his best chance at an Oscar. However, the film only got one. It is one of only 40 movies ever to be nominated for Best Director and nothing else. So the big ones this year were Fellowship of the Ring, although that ultimately didn't win much of anything. It won a lot in the categories of special effects and all that. Moulin Rouge was a surprising big hit. A Beautiful Mind and Gosford Park.
Amelie. I always used to get Amelie and Moulin Rouge confused as a kid.
Well, now you know they're in the same Oscar race. So unequivocally, I don't think Ron Howard should have won. I think that's just a slam dunk no from me, and always will be. However, I am a huge fan of Gosford Park, and I think you seriously could make the case that this could have been Robert Altman's chance at an Oscar as well. I would have been very, very, very happy with Lynch winning Best Director and Gosford Park winning Best Picture.
I mean, yeah, I think Lynch should have got director for that. Because I think, like, contextually, I think taking the fact that he made an hour-and-a-half pilot and then completely turned it into a fucking amazing film is...
I don't know when you want to break this down. So we'll talk about it now whilst we're here. So
Yeah.
it's the original conception is a possible pilot for Audrey. That's the
Yeah.
original conception, is that she leaves Twin Peaks, she survives the bank explosion and moves to Hollywood. That's the it.
Doesn't become a hairdresser.
No. And then it changes and adapts, and they shoot about an hour and a half's worth for an hour and a half feature-length pilot, such as they did for Twin Peaks.
Mm-hmm.
Then, a year later, and the lead characters of that were going to be Robert Forster's detective.
Yeah.
So that's why he's in this for 30 seconds, even though he's a huge, well, at this point, he's a huge star. He's coming off a very, very good Oscar, I say a very, very good Oscar loss. A very, very good Oscar nomination that everybody was surprised was going to be a loss with Jackie Brown, which was a pretty big deal at the time.
Have you done Jackie Brown on?
We haven't done Jackie Brown yet. We did our Tarantino, but that was a fortnight, not a month. So we only got to pick 6. And I lobbied for Hateful Eight over Jackie Brown because I know that Will hates it and I wanted to prove him wrong. And I kind of brought him over to my way of thinking.
Okay.
Do you not like Hateful Eight, Jack?
We don't have to get onto this right now. I mean, I did when I watched it.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so there you go.
But I'd be very, very happy to give Lynch. Acting wise, I mean, what are we doing? Not giving Naomi a nomination.
Yeah, they crack.
The big argument is, of course, that this is a very, very good 5.
Yeah.
All of these are great. Well, there's 2 exciting nominees. I say exciting. You've got Renee for Bridget Jones's Diary, which is a pretty big deal, actually, to get a comedy in there. So anytime there's a comedy, I'll never get rid of it. I think that's really good. And I think it's actually pretty deserving. Nicole for Moulin Rouge, well, we all know my opinions on Nicole Kidman. I not only think she's one of the most beautiful women of all time, I think she's one of the most great actresses ever and one of the most versatile. Just look at 5 films and you'll see that she is so much more than how she's made out to be sometimes. However, Moulin Rouge, again, very exciting nomination, big sing song. But the point is that it's a very good 5. However, if Naomi was in there, I think it would have been an interesting race.
Yes, every time I watch this, I'm impressed by Naomi Watts.
And actually, I'm going to say that fact, but we're going to talk about a fact very soon. I love the screenplay, but I don't think the screenplay nominations would have happened. What did Randy Newman win for? I see Randy Newman's face. If I Didn't Have You from Monsters Inc. Great song, Randy. Great song. For me, as we always say on these, a lack of nominations for editing and cinematography is baffling to me.
Cinematography is stunning as well. Is it Peter Deming?
It's Peter Deming, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's edited by Mary Sweeney. But it always baffles me. It's just one of those things. I think he's just that little bit too experimental. And that means one thing: you are shut out of the Oscars.
I love LA so much. I love the light. In LA, Mulholland Drive is a famous road. And there's much mood. There's so many stories about that road. And it's a very kind of dreamy thing to think about. You know, the old story, so many people come here to try to realize their dreams.
Mulholland Drive was a particular road that I remember when I was down on my luck and remember thinking, oh, this day is going too bad, and this has been a succession of really bad days. I could just do a quick turn and just drive off this cliff.
Yeah.
We'll see what comes of that in the future. The one sort of categories you do sort of maybe get in are cinematography, because I think that's changed over the years. I think the big Instagram thing of, you know, one beautiful frame or all that sort of stuff, I actually think has brought more art movies into best cinematography in recent years. Although The Lighthouse is almost unequivocally one of the best looking movies of the past 5 years, I don't think it would have been nominated, as it was, in a different time.
Oh, there we go. You cut out for a second.
Oh, I was just talking about The Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse.
Great movie.
Refresh me.
I was just saying, I think that the fact that Lighthouse got nominated for Best Cinematography, even though it didn't win, I think does show a change. Because, you know, for so many years, cinematography was just your best epic, basically. It was just who can shoot the biggest landscape.
Right.
And obviously that's the exact opposite of what The Lighthouse is. We move on to Best Single Minutes. What are your nominations this time around?
Oh boy. Every minute now. I
think this is where we can talk about Winkies.
Oh, sorry, you just killed me.
Why did you forget Winkies?
I forgot Winkies for so long, when it's one of the most iconic scenes ever. Oh my god!
It's transcended Lynch, I feel. I think.
Yes, it does. It's like one of those that is shown in film classes.
And I think it's because it's a jump scare.
Yeah.
It's always it's probably in Watch Mojo, top 10 jump scares of all time.
Yep. And it's
Bobby Barrett.
In the daylight.
Yeah. We're both Mad Men people. It's nice to see Bobby Barrett.
Yep.
And he's just great. And again, he sells the scene. These scenes are completely ridiculous if they are given any winking at all.
Yeah.
But they're not. And that means that they work so effectively. I've always seen that sort of hooded homeless figure as doom, dread, all that entails. What is it to you? Broader question as that is.
Yeah, that's similar to me. However, like obviously the second half reveals that Winkies is the place where she put the hit job on Camilla. And yeah, I think it's part of that thing where it's obviously like reality kind of bleeding in with the dream, because yeah, it's where she made the choice to have her lover killed.
It's facing death. It's horrific. Brilliant. Best line, Jay.
Okay, let me check my phone real quick.
Here's one.
I put a note.
When you see the girl in the picture that was shown to you earlier today, you will say, "This is the girl." The rest of the cast can stay. That's up to you. But the choice for that lead girl is not up to you. You'll see me one more time if you do good. You'll see me 2 more times if you do bad. Good night. And then he's gone. He's gone straight away. Bye-bye.
Choice. I wrote down and I was like, oh, that's a nice wink. So when they're before they rehearse the scene together, Betty and the nameless one,
Camilla, Rita,
yeah, Rita. Betty says to her, "It'll be just like in the movies. We'll pretend to be like someone else."
Very reminiscent of the Lost Highway It's almost like a thesis statement. It's like, I'm going to throw this line in. It's pretty on the nose.
Mm-hmm.
On the second watch, it's definitely on the nose, but it's not too obvious. It's not too winky. It's just perfect, and it fits the tone completely. No hay banda. There is no band.
Yes.
It brings me back to Gibson talented drama. As you just said, it'll be just like in the movies.
Also, did you notice that that's the same guy as the one that owns the hotel that Justin stays in?
I didn't notice it, and then I did my research. Really, really good job there by that guy. Never guessed that in a million, in 100 watches. I have never spotted that.
I think I only noticed it on the second to most recent one.
Very odd. This is a great quote, but the name of the character is even better. Something bit me bad. However, their name, according to IMDb, is Heavy-Set Woman Killed by Messing.
Yeah. This isn't really the best line, but I noted down the guy who's obviously friends with the assassin saying, he's telling a story and he just says, fucking car accident. Yeah.
He does deliver that very well. Let's get negative for a moment. I really don't have any, but what's the change? Do you have any changes?
For me, there's only one bit that I fluctuate on liking and not liking, and that's when the neighbor comes to the door and is like, you don't belong here. Someone is here who doesn't belong.
Somebody else, somebody's in trouble. Yes, I feel it. The fact that it doesn't have a payoff in the reality. Yeah, I can go with that. Oh my God, I never yawn. I never yawn when I'm not on a show. It's unbelievable. Yes, I can agree with you there because it doesn't really have a payoff. However, again, I think it's another interesting. Yeah, look at your face in the mirror. You're in a dream. You're in a dream. Come on, wake up.
It's a piece of foreshadowing.
It is. The break into fake Diane's house, I think, I don't know. I know it's very well built tension. However, after the first time, it sort of feels like tension coming to nothing because this isn't a movie based around this grand plot that, this great mystery that pays off. It's all dream logic. And so I sort of feel on a rewatch that I'm like, okay, I could lose this.
I mean, for me, that gets more tense on rewatches because they're discovering literally like Betty's dead body, which is where the film goes up to. And I think it gets more disturbing like on the second time for me personally.
I guess it's the fact that it doesn't exactly look like a rotting Naomi Watts.
Yeah, that might be it.
And I understand that from a point of view of giving anything away. However, the fact that they're not blonde, I think they need to be blonde. If they're blonde, then I can completely agree with you. And it'd still keep the mystery because obviously, eventually, Camilla/Rita goes blonde, and so we'd still have the mystery of who was that dead body? Is it them or is it them? But I could. Oh my God! I need to Google 10 ways to stop yawning.
It's always during a show.
Is there anything left in your notes, Jane?
Nothing important really. I mean, he said the thing about we mentioned it in the last podcast, I think, where like all the important things are in blue, and there's the red phone, and I just put like at the start there's no answer to the red phone, and then at the end there is an answer, and it's obviously Diane, who's
Here's some news. completely forgotten. Here we go. Oh, this is what I want to do. So, for the French release, the studio demanded Lynch to write some clues or give an explanation. So these are the 10 clues
1 second.
from David Lynch. Do you have your own?
No, my computer's about to die.
Oh no. So for the audience, Jay knows this. He gave 10 clues because they demanded it. The studio demanded it. And so instead of giving an explanation, which he's obviously not going to do, and rightfully so, these are the 10 clues. So I thought we would have a look at these. Be particularly attentive at the beginning of the film. At least 2 clues are revealed before the credits. So, Jitterbug contest.
And the falling into the pillow.
Falling into the pillow. And the old couple.
Yes. Yeah.
So, are the old couple her mother and father in reality?
That's I never have like a solid thing for the old couple, and I mean you could see it as like in the dream they're the ones that arrived with her, and then in reality like they kind of haunt her, like she arrived in LA and then these are like the manifestation of like her time in LA in a way. Is one way I'd interpret it. Because obviously it starts off with her going, thank you with them. And then ultimately they are screaming at her until she kills herself.
This is true. Be really attentive when a red lampshade appears on the screen. We've talked about this with the phone that doesn't answer and does answer. Can you hear the title of the film for which Adam Kesher is casting actresses? The Sylvia Noah Story. Is this title mentioned again? Yes, later when she says, we met on the Sylvia North Story. A car accident is a terrible thing. I've always liked this clue because he has to specify that a car accident is a terrible thing.
Yeah.
Pay attention to where the accident takes place. Mulholland Drive. But also, is he saying there that pay attention because it's where she then gets picked up later? It's a surprise when they come through the bush together.
Yeah, that probably.
That's a clue enough, isn't it? Who gives the blue key and why?
The assassin.
Yeah.
Also, can I talk about the assassin for a second?
Take it.
Okay. Because I don't know if you view it the same way, but you know how incompetent he is in the dream? I think that's just part of Betty's kind of wishing that Camilla lives in reality and that the assassin's actually terrible at his job and doesn't kill her, but
yeah,
he does.
That's great. I love that.
Yeah.
I think, really nice. Pay attention to the dress, the ashtray, and the coffee cup. So the dress I don't know because he doesn't specify. The ashtray, again, always by the phone and the lamp. And the coffee cup, I noticed she's drinking the same espresso cup at the engagement party, and then she looks over and Angelo's there. So I guess again, all of these clues are basically just pointing at having him point out where the mirrorings are and all that.
Yeah. Also, this is one thing I've never been sure on, but you might have some idea. How do you view the cowboys appearing in real life in the second half? When
he goes, time to wake up.
Yeah, when he's like, wake up, little girl. And then also when he's at the party and you see him like in the background for a second.
Yeah. If anything, I've always seen that as that he's not real. And that's the one thing in reality that isn't real. That's the only, we could only be talking about Mulholland Drive, and for this sentence to make sense. When he's in reality, he's the only one that's not real. That's how I've always seen it, that he's in the lad. in the White Lad brings back some memories. I've always seen it as he's the ultimate harbinger of doom.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Right.
But again, I don't know. And so, as much as I say this is the one that makes sense of all the experimental ones, some things do still evade direct
explanation, which is always good. It's good to have room to dream.
At the Club Silencio, something is felt. The viewer realizes something. The clues come together. But what is it?
It's all a dream.
Yeah, everything's fake. Everything, all these fake things that are making you feel something so deeply and so emotionally are a lie that you've made.
It's all an illusion.
No, I bet that. Did Camilla only become famous thanks to her talent? Presumably not. Presumably it's her sexual relationship with Adam.
Yeah.
I think that's what that's
up to interpretation. And I think it's nice how, well, not nice, how obviously Betty in the dream is like views herself as this amazing actor who should have gotten a job on that film that they're casting for, and then obviously in real life she's just an extra who works in, you know.
It's, well, that's the great heart of the story, isn't it? She can't accept two things: that the woman she loves deeply doesn't love her back, and so she has it killed. So as you talk about, she can't accept that the hitman will be good at the job and will brutally kill her, and she can't accept that they're married, that their relationship is happy. But mainly, she can't accept that she's possibly a bad actress, and that she can't accept that she says it in the party. I really wanted that part. She can't accept that she didn't get the part because she was maybe worse than Camilla. And so she has to come up with Michael J. Anderson in a moving wheelchair speaking into a microphone, and then somebody calling somebody over there, and then somebody picking up that phone. It has to be this big grand thing.
Mysterious mob that controls Hollywood. Yeah.
Pay attention to the man behind Winkies. I mean, he's there in the Winky scene, and then he's there later.
Pay attention to him.
Pay attention. He is there. Where is Aunt Ruth?
Wait, in which part?
Well, it just says that's the end of the and that's the end of the clues, by the way, guys. Where is Aunt Ruth? That's it.
I mean, where is she? I don't know. Wait, she's Adam's aunt, I think,
presumably
in reality, and then she owns the place thingy stays in the dream.
It's Coco's mother. Coco's Adam's mother in real life, which is an interesting shift.
Although I think a nice thing is that obviously she's pretty nice in the dream, and then she's also relatively nice to Betty in reality. So I think
tapping her hand. Well, I think that's a bit of the reverse. The bit of the reverse stuff is that she's the only person in this entire situation that's ever been really nice to her. And so she's really, really, really nice in the dream. One of those things. That's about it from me.
Love this film.
It's a great film. A few fun facts. Here we go. Adam Kesher smashing the producer's car windshield in with a golf club is a reference to the famous 1994 incident where Jack Nicholson committed the same act.
Okay.
I told you Nicole Kidman would be back. Naomi Watts actually lost her health insurance and faced eviction from her apartment shortly after filming Rat. She was ready to quit acting and leave Los Angeles, but her close friend, Nicole Kidman, talked her into staying until after the film was released.
You managed to fit Nicole Kidman in.
She saved Naomi Watts.
Yes.
The set of reels that was distributed to the movie theaters included a computer-written, photocopied note from David Lynch himself, giving special instructions to the projectionists worldwide. Specifically, he did not want the film to be centered vertically on the screen, but rather to allow more overhead. That is, to let the top part of the frame be more visible than the bottom part. It was because the film was originally made for TV, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah. The note ended with the words, your friend, David Lynch.
Sweetheart.
On the way to the audition for her part as Camilla Rhodes, Laura Harring was in a minor car accident.
That's trippy.
Most terrible, bizarre, horrible things.
We live
Go on, sorry.
Oh, no, nothing.
So, talking about the chapter selections, Robert Zemeckis also used this idea on his Laserdisc release of Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump, one of the most episodic chapter-based movies of all time. Robert Zemeckis didn't want to have chapter selection on. Okay,
I'm trying to remember
that makes
if
sense.
mine had chapter selection when I was younger, and I swear it did.
Well, no, the chapter selection it has, not on Forrest Gump, is the picture of the room, and then it's vase and a mirror.
Yeah. No, I was talking about Forrest Gump.
Oh, right.
But yeah, I do have that version as well for Mulholland.
The actor who played the cowboy couldn't remember his lines, so Justin Theroux had to hold up boards for him to read off camera.
That's funny.
Tagline rundown. Beware what you dream for. Nice, yeah, fits. A love story in the city of dreams.
Yeah, I like that one.
Fits, yeah. An actress longing to be a star. A woman searching for herself. Both worlds will collide on Mulholland Drive.
Ooh.
A woman in search of stardom. A woman in search of herself in the city of dreams. A key to a mystery lies somewhere on Mulholland Drive. That's the Twilight Zone of the.
It feels so Twilight. Yeah, I was about to say that.
A lesbian lover can accept.
In Mulholland Drive.
Mulholland Drive. Somewhere between time and infinity. Somewhere between space and time. Tom's big question. Do you go in for the whole Laura and Teresa Palmer? Laura Palmer and Teresa. What's the name of the other girl in Twin Peaks that survived?
What, Rana Pulaski?
Yeah, not Teresa. Do you go in for the theory that that's the blonde and the brunette in the Silencio Theatre?
Yeah. I mean, I always thought that. They looked like that.
They do look very, very, very similar.
Bridge between reality and the dream, like the White Lodge or Black Lodge.
What else have I got? Does the other guy see the homeless man at Winkies? Because he just drops and he goes, Bobby, Bobby, Bobby.
I don't know. That's a good question.
And the old couple, we talked about, I guess. I don't know what else could be done. And what was the pilot like? What did the pilot look like?
So I've skimmed through it on YouTube because you can find it.
All right. Okay.
Wait, what? Talk about something else for a second, and I'm going to find it.
Okay. Well, I was just always wondering what they added. What was the what was the pilot?
Okay. So the pilot finishes with them looking in the mirror at her in a wig. So oh my god, your background. So
okay, so that's where it ends, and then then the refilmed stuff, the 8 million was Silencio and reincorporating everything.
Yes.
Okay, I could get into that. Right. Okay. Well, this is the ultimate Tom's big question, isn't it? What would you rather have? There's no guarantee on quality, but Lynch directs and writes every episode. Would you rather have the Mulholland Drive film that we have today, or 7 episodes?
I'd say the Mulholland Drive we have today, which is probably the only time I'd say that I want less Lynch.
It just feels so complete and consummate and tidy. Whereas, as we'll find with Inland Empire, although there is lots and lots and lots of good in it, a bit messy. and a bit, a bit woe, bit way, and very
What?
experimental. And that's it for Tom's question. I'm going to actually, I'm going to leave my spooky background. Hello, David.
Hello. Hello.
Who's this man in front of me? Jay, this is your favorite film of all time.
Yes.
Any final thoughts on your favorite film ever?
Final, I don't know. I could have infinite thoughts. I find something new with it every time I watch it, which is nice. There's always a new link, a new thing to be found, a new place to dream, as Lynch would say. I think it's just a fantastic film, and I think actually no, we can talk about that off podcast actually.
Ooh, very nice, very exciting. Jay, next episode we will conclude this little run of 10 episodes. So very sad, but we'll get there when we get there. Because not only are we going to talk about Inland Empire, we're also going to rank, excluding Twin Peaks: Fire Walk with Me,
and The Return,
and all TV. We're going to rank the 10 films or 9 films, I can't remember, that we have talked about today. Yeah. I will see you then. No, I banda.
Ba 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 ba.